Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dive After Hours, where we like to get up close and personal, judging by our screen outlays, because that's what we are, up close and personal with you guys, because we love you guys. Only a little bit, not too much.
I hope you don't feel too
Mm,
touched by
Yeah,
oh
by
man.
that intro.
don't feel too touched by that intro. Ha
You did
wink.
it again. You did it again?
So what I do, guys, hey, I'm here all weekend. Just kidding. Whenever my phone doesn't ring, that is when I am here, because that's the only time I have free time to do shit. And, yeah, I saw the title on that last one, "Coffee and Reasons Why Dash is Single." I saw the bottom one, I'm like, "What the fuck? Why am I getting" I'm catching strays again. Like, I wake
Always,
up I
always.
I'm sitting there, and then it's like what makes it even funny on Discord, like, it's the inside joke, because I'm the only single one of the trio here, so whenever there's an opportunity to make fun of me for being single, I am catching the strays. So
Mhm.
next video, I'm going to buy the sweater that Drake wore with bullet holes on it and the smoke coming out. I'm just gonna do the entire stream with it just because F it, why not? But
Yeah,
I'm dying.
then Dave has to dress like Kendrick, and
He
I
called him
bet
a
he won't
mumble
like that.
rapper. He called him a mumble rapper. He hates Kendrick, just
No,
like how
I
Logan
just
Paul hates Canada.
everyone hates Canada these days. Even
I
the British were like, yeah, it's we don't
too
care.
too much to manage. We don't care.
Honestly, with Trump and how he's trying to involve himself into European politics, honestly, I'm reconsidering whether which one I like more.
Could you imagine the German-Canadian partnership? Oh god, that'd be so funny.
Hey, dude, German and Canadians are trying to work with each other, at least
We're gonna
right
have a
now.
new auto industry. We're not gonna build shitty ass Chevrolets anymore. We're gonna build goddamn Mercedes. How about that? Fuck you,
Fuck
America.
yeah.
I'm sorry, the quality of Mercedes has gone, like, drastically down over the past couple of years.
We're still comparing it to Chevrolet, all right? Like, just
The
fucking relax. Just
and
relax.
and
80s
let
Mercedes was peak.
hey, and let's be real, the quality of all automobiles and brands has gone down
Man,
significantly.
it's because of the fucking hipsters.
Dash is
And
getting all worked up, dude.
don't tell me no, Ford still has great quality. No, they don't. Nobody
I
has
was
great quality.
never gonna say that, I hate Ford.
Okay,
You
I
okay,
drive
just
a
okay.
Ford and you're from Detroit and
I do
you
not drive a
will
Ford.
defend them with your life.
I
Every
do
one of
not
those
drive
shitty American.
I do not drive a
You
Ford.
know, I thought you had a
Yeah,
Ford. Yeah.
like Dave is
No.
defending maple syrup, man.
I have a Ram
Dude,
truck, but, like, the car that I
Dude,
defend
would
it.
love to purchase is a fucking Nissan GTR, the Nissimo engine,
Oh,
like,
you're a ricer.
I am a ricer. I'm a
Oh,
huge ricer. You
nice.
love your long time, Dave. I go very
Fuck,
fast. Car
we're
go
more
vroom vroom.
similar
A turbo. I
because
like a turbo.
ever since I got that Civic, I'm like, yeah, I'm into it.
Stop.
I would love like a Type
Stop.
R. If I had money, I can just piss away.
Dude,
I
man,
would get a I'd get a
my
Type R.
my
finally have to get myself a fast car as well.
my car phase was in the ricer era. So, like, every man has a
Yeah.
car phase, right? Like, when they're
Oh,
growing
sure.
up, like, there's
Oh,
always that moment where you get addicted to cars.
I've
So
gone
it's
through
just like
phases though. Like I never
it's
got lost
like,
in one.
no?
No, like I
Really?
started with American Muscle because that was my influence around my family,
I
especially my
see.
uncle. And he like, but my uncle was like an Eagle guy.
What
Remember
about
Eagle?
what about Canadian muscle?
What? No,
I
we
mean,
don't have
it's
that.
just, instead of horsepower, they do moose power. Like
Hey,
like,
don't fuck
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
you
moose.
buy
Don't
a
fuck with
car
the
in
moose.
Canada, be like, "Oi, hey, what's the specs on this one there, bud? Oh, we got ourselves here. It's a 4.3 liter, 450 moose power engine."
Yeah, because Canadians don't have fucking horses.
No, you don't.
It's just like how America's like we got
oh,
bald
hold up,
eagles. That's
hold
our
up, hold up,
bird.
hold
It's
up,
like
hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up.
I'm sorry. We had to
It's
open with a
hold up,
Canada joke. It's not a
hold up,
stream if we don't make a Canada joke.
hold up,
hey,
hold up.
what's up, Germany? Germany's trying to get involved
It's
again.
it's not the American criticizing other countries for their sorry, man. My English left me. I was on a good run.
Bullscheisma.
But you that is measuring in yards and inches and
Hold on,
you're the one.
let me turn orange real quick, get, like, some flowy blonde hair and be like, "You know, I actually like the Canadians. They're very nice people." Well, I gotta do the hand motions here on the camera. There we go. They're very nice people, but, it's really weird. This Trudeau guy likes to use moose power instead of horsepower, so I'm not too sure about what that is. but we're gonna give them some tariffs just because they use moose power, and because unfortunately they didn't let me name the Canadian shield the American shield. It would have made much more sense because we just released Captain America a couple weeks ago. But I like Trudeau. Trudeau, he's a cool guy. I like him. And the Chancellor of Germany, even though they haven't made a good Mercedes in the last 20 years, but it is what it is. And hopefully they can get back to Formula One dominance because I love that Lewis Hamilton guy. That Lewis Hamilton guy, excellent guy. Very, very,
Just being
very
a
big.
shit.
Very. I can't do the accent. I can't do his voice. I'm sorry. I can't.
Dave, I give my nod to Canada. You want
Thank
me.
you.
You want me.
Listen, we got Europe. We don't need we don't need America. All right, we got Europe, and Europe,
Right.
dude. Like they just do things better.
Like,
It's cramped. It's super cramped there, and you gotta live with your grandma.
I
but,
just
like,
I
they do
gotta
things
say
better.
I gotta say this just to troll. Not making any political opinions here. People don't take it the wrong way. But Europe to me,
You can also go for political opinions. It's okay.
we're going for the joke route here. Europe to me is the definition of a toxic parent that beat the shit out of their kid, and then their kid grows up and becomes successful, and they expect their kid to take care of them. And the kid, I mean, is the United States, because like throughout the entire time, oh yeah, Yankees this, Yankees that, Yankees this, Yankees that, and then when the Yankee has the belt, like that's usually how it's been going with Europe from a satirical perspective here. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but like if you've ever noticed it, whenever something happens, they're always looking at us and they're like, "Hey, and it's just like,
But like America is systematically killing themselves with their own food sources.
oh, absolutely, oh, absolutely,
Like it's self-defeating. Or like Europe, at least Europe still has like that quality of life. Yeah, they're not as
I think the big thing about Europe, what Europe has over the United States is they're not run by corporations,
they
right?
still are. Not
They
but not
are
to the
no,
same
they
level.
are, but it's not
kind of,
as extensive. It's not as like, because like for example, with the United States, you have 50 states, one central government, and essentially if I'm a big capitalistic entity here, all I need to do is control that central government, and I have 350 million people in the palm of my hand, right? Where it's like, for example, with European corporations, there isn't like your megacorps that essentially rule across all of Europe. Each country has their own corporations or their own things, which I think is a lot more difficult for them to have, product control over certain things, right? That's why, like, for example, the quality of McDonald's is better in third world countries than it is in actual first world countries. You want to know why? Because McDonald's isn't going to go to the Albanian prime minister and say, "Hey, we're going to fucking lobby the shit out of you so we can have cheap and stupid food." McDonald's is kind of like, fuck it, I don't really care. Let's just make it how they want it there or whatever, right? Because if you look at like the fast food companies in Europe, they don't want to, like, for example, KFC is not going to invest a fuck ton of money to try to reduce food inspections or labor costs in Bulgaria, of all places, right? Because it's not that big of a market share for them. Where it makes more sense and it's easier for them to do is the United States, because again, centralized government, the FDA, centralized area, all I have to do is lobby the shit out of this one specific resource, and then I get my way. And then I get my access to 350, I'm just thinking of arbitrary numbers, 350 million people essentially of my targeted market share for that. Where it's like with Europe, they would have to lobby English Parliament, French Parliament, Italian Parliament, German Parliament, and I'm saying Parliament again. Pardon my ignorance.
And do not argue with the French or Italians about food. Just don't do it.
Right. No, and not even necessarily that. For example, Volkswagen has production lines in Eastern Europe. I believe in Romania, and I forgot which other countries. And the rules that apply here for work safety and stuff like that, Volkswagen has to abide by them in Romania as well, because they have to listen to rules that are set for them here as well, because it's not a reason for you to because it's cheaper for them to produce outside of Germany. It's not okay for them to to abuse the workers, so to say. So they have still to look for adequate workplaces, adequate pay, and stuff like that. And that is mandatory by the German government. And since it's still a German company that has its seat in Germany, they have to adhere to that. And for
Yeah.
example, because you mentioned the McDonald's example, that is influenced as well by the Middle European countries and the Southern and Eastern European countries as well, because the standards of McDonald's and Burger King are reasonably high here. Not to say it's great food, of course, but because like
Not so bad.
no, it's exactly that's it. Like Burger King and McDonald's ain't healthy, not even here in Germany. So no, but the food inspection and the quality control that is happening here, people are getting accustomed to that, and tourists as well. And if you're a tourist that is traveling, like let's say you're making a Croatia road trip, like I did for a couple of years ago, or you have people that are flying to Croatia from outside of Europe, they expect the food or the McDonald's, which are still like the most earning and most visited restaurants, if you want to call it that, in the world. And the people demand the quality they get in, for example, in Italy, in Germany, or in France, and their McDonald's and stuff like that. So those countries have to raise their standards away, which they are doing, which I was surprised by. But they have to do that in order to survive, because Europe is kind of, man, woke is the wrong word, but is
Petty.
turning
I would say
kind
petty.
of.
I think Europe is
No,
petty.
I don't even think petty, but
Progressive.
honestly, progressive. Yeah, progressive is
Okay.
the right word. I didn't want to, like, not in a negative sense, but Europe is getting like co- yeah, if we speak about food and stuff like that,
I kind of want to say, but like, wouldn't
and over rules, it's kind Europe is kind of progressive at that finally.
Like even
And
the source of
uh,
the meat,
well, I would
yeah,
everything the source is better.
Well, I wouldn't even say, like, for example, like, I wouldn't even say progressive. I kind of want to go to the argument by saying it's petty because, like, for example, the countries are competitive with each other. Like, they are. Like, Balkan countries are hyper competitive, especially when it
no,
comes to
they are,
tourism. Like, European countries are because, like, for example, if
but
the
they are
tourist
raising their standards thanks to that.
exactly. No, no, yeah,
Yeah,
right. That
yeah.
because they're raising their quality because of it. Because, like, for example, what's the difference between the Albanian Riviera and the Croatian Riviera? There's not really much of a difference. That's why they're
There's not.
focusing.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they're looking at, for example, better food, better food,
Food is
service.
essentially the same. The food you are sourcing is virtually the same. You're right there, like at the sea, so you're sourcing the same stuff. Yeah,
So it's more so again, quality of hotel service, cost of hotels, cost of food,
yeah.
quality of food, location of food. That's why, like, for example, I think and Europeans are very petty. I am one. I was born there. I am a very petty person. I can be extremely petty.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm
you
living in
are.
Europe for 30 years now.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So I think and that's where it's like to the betterment of Europe, where it's just like Europeans are extremely petty. And like, for example, if you go into like, especially, and again, I'm speaking more from the Balkan perspective. If, someone is telling me like my Greek or the Greek cuisine is better than the Albanian's gonna say, fuck no, it's not. My chivapi is better than the Greek chivapi, even though it's again
I want to try
chivapi
your
is
chibapi.
chivapi, or the
Oh,
chivapi that we've got
I
at
don't
our
know what it is,
shop.
but I want to try it, Dash.
Oh, it's good as fuck.
Dude,
Oh, you gonna love it.
dude, actual cevapcici from. I don't want to offend any Balkan country, then that's why I say the whole Balkan region has incredible cevapcici.
Oh
You
yeah.
still just offended somebody from the Balkans just for mentioning it.
No, it's
And
great.
let the fourth Balkan War begin. But no,
Dude,
it's
but there's grilled over wood coals.
yes,
Oh, damn,
yes,
that's
would, yes. But I kind of talk about it because, like, for example, especially like Balkan food, even though it's all generally the same between all the countries, they're highly competitive on whose cuisine is better.
And it's all slightly different. They all have their own little
It is
twist.
because you have like the Bulgarian feta cheese, the Greek feta cheese, the Albanian feta cheese,
Oh my
the
god, I'm hungry. Why do you do
Montenegrin.
this when I haven't had dinner?
You had tea. You've got tea in your mouth. Drink your tea, daddy. Yeah, that's right.
great.
Chug it, you bastard. But yeah, you look at it from that perspective, and I think that's why Europe's food quality will always be better than the United States because one, I'm gonna be honest with you, Americans, you don't know good food if it slapped you across the fucking face. Like you don't.
Oh no, you don't. No, you
You
don't.
guys
Trust
don't.
me. You
Like, sure,
don't.
you got yourselves your Texas barbecue and your Southern hospitality, your peppers from Louisiana and all that spicy Southern shit, but like honestly, no. Like
It's good stuff, but
the
like
United
you can't live a diet on it.
The United States is the epitome of imported foods. I'm just gonna keep it honest with you. Because if you look at, like, for example, restaurants in my area where I live, popular restaurants, Mexican, Arabic foods,
Mm,
and like, for example, we opened up a gyro spot that does chivapti and all that other fun jazz. All three of
mm.
those, all three of those genres popping. Like if you go to Southwest Detroit, which is Mexican town, all of those restaurants have people in it. The people can't even speak English, like the servers and the staff can't speak English, but that bitch is packed. Why? Because that bitch has good food.
Mexican food is so good.
That's why I learned Spanish. But no, but like that shit is amazing.
But the Colombian girl?
That's why that shit is amazing.
Damn,
But
Dave.
anyways. Son of a bitch. I'm trying to focus. But and then same thing with Arabic spots. Like for example, Middle Eastern foods, whether it's Iraqi sub shops, whether it's Lebanese shawarma joints, like all of them. Especially if they are in, I'm going to choose my words carefully here, predominantly white neighborhoods. White.
Then you put, you
Serbia.
put emphasis on that first H that isn't even there.
Like when you put them in those neighborhoods, those places are always popping because, like, for example, the only thing that we have, or the only thing the United States has that's like American is like tavern food, like hamburgers and fries.
And even then, like some of these places, like, oh yeah, I got this Asiago brioche with some fucking frilly ass garnish bullshit. It's like, God, it's a goddamn hamburger, guys. Like,
No,
you just
but honest question. Do you think there can be actually such a big difference in between an American burger joint and an European burger joint?
No.
I went to
Absolutely not.
So I was
Like
in Frankfurt.
what are the differences? Like
I would say this,
in my opinion, yeah.
Europeans know how to season their meat.
Yeah.
And it's just the quality of the source. So I went to it wasn't a chain, it was a one-off restaurant in Frankfurt, but it was an American style burger joint.
Yep.
And unfortunately the people that I was with didn't want German food in Germany. They wanted American food that they got at home. I don't know. To me, that's insane. But anyways, so we went to this burger joint. And it was very traditional in that they didn't do anything fancy and over the top or super hipster. But at the same time, it was just good quality meat. Nothing fancy, but just decent quality meat. Something that I might make myself with like whatever crap that I buy at the supermarket. Nothing fancy. Like I didn't go buy chuck and grind it myself. I just got the tray of minced meat shit and made a burger, made it on my fucking barbecue. It was like that kind of quality.
Yeah.
Whereas you cannot find, unless you go to some like greasy like trailer in the middle of Louisiana kind of fucking mom and pop restaurant, fucking middle of nowhere. Like you're not finding that kind of food in America. It's all pre-packaged, pre-formed, pre-bullshit. Just slap it together.
Well, yeah, because like it's weird because like a predominant amount of people in the United States, the moment you put seasoning, they think it's like the most greatest thing ever, and it's like, I just added base seasoning to this. Yeah, I just put salt and pepper.
Yeah,
because like with European hamburgers, because like for example, one thing that I learned when I was over there is like they'll take the ground beef, they'll put in ranch powder, they'll put in some basil, some parsley leaf in the chuck while they're actually forming it, and then they pat it together and they throw it in, and boom, you've got a burger. That's essentially what chivapti is. It's ground beef with a bunch of seasonings rolled into little sausages. That's kind of what it is.
And herbs.
That's what that is. Yeah. So, yeah, those are good.
Yeah, that's what it is. Where it's like here, it's a foreign concept.
Oh my god! And in between some flatbread with yogurt.
Oh,
this is a thing.
Tzatziki sauce.
So yogurt in America is like this little thing in a plastic cup that has jam at the bottom of it. Like that's what yogurt is in America.
Yeah, where
And
it's like
they think like this Greek yogurt or that more traditional style
okay.
yogurt is gross
Dude,
because
but by
they're
the way,
eating it though. They're eating it like they're expecting there to be jam on it. You know, it's like it's that's not how you eat yogurt. You have it with other things.
Do you know what's crazy to me though? Oh, do you guys hear me actually? Because
Yeah,
my
yeah,
image
yeah.
Yeah,
was
No, we hear you. We
oh,
hear
okay,
you.
okay. Every time I watch like American recipes for food because they're actually like good American food YouTube channels, they always use like if they need fancy yogurt, they use Greek yogurt, which isn't even fancy.
No,
Like,
Kuss is
Yeah, but
better.
that's like the best. That's like one of the best things you can get that's available. They're like that's
yeah,
it.
that's what I was gonna say. Like the amount of yogurts you can get, like from every single region, even if like at Lidl and Aldi, you find Greek yogurt, you find Turkish yogurt, you find Balkan yogurt, you find Italian yogurt, plain German. Like
No,
it's
no.
it's
It's
crazy.
there's like a monopoly. There's basically a monopoly. It's one giant. I think it's Danone that was the first into North America and basically monopolized it. And they're the ones that found out that hey, if we put the sugary ass shit in the bottom of it, then Americans will actually put it in their mouth.
Because it's sugar, because they're fat.
Mm. No,
And,
Yeah, but like,
that's
for
like a different
example,
story.
like German Dave, you know what Kuss is, right? Like KOS, like it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's like, for example, with that's what we use in the Balkans, and we call that yogurt. But like, it's sour. It's more of a sour taste, but
Yeah.
it's so fucking good.
Yeah, and also you have to try like every single yogurt to know what tastes good to which recipe because Greek yogurt isn't that sour. Turkish yogurt is very sour, but the
Oh yeah, Greek's
yogurt
not
from the
sour at all.
Balkan region is very sour. But the Turkish one has more salt content, so they are so like even though the base is yogurt, like there are so many like the
Yeah,
differences
that's it's
and
different.
the amount of fat and yeah.
And the way they had it in Macedonia when I was there, it was the drinkable style. It was
Yes,
very thin.
yeah, that's
Oh
where
my
they
God,
water it
iron,
down. Yeah,
iron.
yeah.
Oh
You guys
yeah.
call it iron. We call it in Albania. It's called dal. So
It
it's
was
like
delicious.
it's watered down Kuss.
iron is the Turkish term for it.
Yeah, because what it is, Dave,
Mm,
it's watered
yeah,
down Kuss. Like you take
yeah,
that yogurt and you mix water into it to water it down, so it's
Okay.
not as thick and it's drinkable.
Okay,
yeah.
because I ended up
Eh,
just buying like a liter of it so I can have it in
Oh,
the
it's
morning.
just good shit. It's
yeah.
great shit.
But Dash, do you have also now the fancy stuff? Because for us they brought some out with like mango flavored, cherry flavored, and all of that stuff.
Oh, I don't.
Like they're
I
playing
drink
out with it.
so my mom, she can make it. So my mom makes Kuss. So like
Yep.
for that, it is the best post game drink ever because
Yeah.
it has like the
Just
natural electrolytes.
plain with salt, right? Plain
Yes.
I
Yes.
love
I
that.
think
Yes.
this is the first
And
time you've ever
Dash
mentioned your
on
mother.
ice, on ice, on
Oh
ice.
yeah. Oh yeah. On ice. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
That's why it's just like, for example, I know like because she and I think she kind of knows too because like I always swing by on Sundays. Like my dad does too. Like my dad drinks it too. So it's just like she usually
it's
makes like a
great.
big vat for us, and it's like we come home from the game, and it's like literally just there, and him and I just like chug through the entire like.
I,
She'll make like 2 liters worth, and it's gone. Like him and I will just
Yep.
chug through it.
I want to address why you haven't mentioned your mother before, though.
Why should I?
Well,
It's your mother.
Hi mom. Hi mom. I love you, mom. No.
I mean, maybe she was deceased. Maybe she left you as a child and you didn't want to talk. I don't know. All of a sudden, yeah, my mom. My mom.
Yes.
sorry, mom.
No, it's just
You
because
should-
she's never like honestly, it's just like I never had to mention her in the topics of discussion that we've had to add. So now
I
it's
mean,
just like actual.
did I mention my mom before?
I don't think so.
You always
Dave
say like my
has.
parents. Like I've
Yeah.
only
Oh,
ever
oh,
heard.
yeah.
No, we
oh, my
mentioned.
dad did.
No. We mentioned moms because German Dave and I were talking about how Balkan moms are like super ridiculously strict, and he was like, "Yeah,
Oh,
German
yeah, he's
parents."
right.
Yeah, and maybe she was super strict and left you when you were 6.
She beat me as a
And you're still
child.
pissed
She
off about.
beat
I
me as
don't
a
know.
child, so I'm not talking about her on podcasts ever. I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
It's traumatizing.
Hey, Dash, I guess you're not the only one.
I guess not.
No, of course not. We can share traumas, but
Yeah, you just hold me now. I'm bringing back
it's
bad memories.
just I'm just surprised. This is It's just news to me.
I'm a grown man. I've become changed. I'm a changed adult. I'm welcoming
You're
love into my
you're a grown Albanian man, which has a mother.
God damn it. You see, that's why I love doing these, just because we just go off the walls and we just go out
Yeah,
of
well,
pocket with some of this shit. Like, this shit is
right.
so fun. Like, I understand, like, our channel is mainly sports and sports analytics and shit like that, but like people need to understand, like, there's
We
other
have
ways.
lives.
Yeah, like, we have lives, and then it's just like
But
we can
by
entertain
the
you
way,
and
honestly, my life ain't that far away from YouTube because it's sport anyway. So
I because it's just like there's more ways that we can entertain people, and it's like we can entertain you guys with the sports analytics and the discussions and all that stuff. I think, like, for example, for me, it's just like if I can sit here and I can talk for like an hour and just make you guys laugh, fuck yeah, that's fun for me. And it's,
Comedian,
again,
this one does it
we're
for the giggles.
we're men of culture. We talk about yogurts and moms, like,
and we drink tea.
and they drink tea.
I would like to talk about moms more often, actually.
Well, we can dedicate a Mother's Day episode to that. Just talk about
Your
moms.
favorite moms.
Hey,
Yeah,
Give
your
us-
favorite
Saturday,
milfs. Let's name them.
Saturday is International Women's Day, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Shout out to my wife and my mother. Go
Yeah.
woman. Go women.
Go
I know
mom.
there's a couple people
Come
out
on.
there that
hey,
what
since
are they
this
called?
episode will air after Women's Day.
Yeah,
Hey,
it'll probably air.
congratulations.
yeah,
to-
maybe.
Thank you
But
for
we
being in our lives.
definitely triggered some incels.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah,
Incels? Incels? Incels, yeah.
Yeah, those are
Involuntary.
the people that don't, touch grass, right?
Yeah, the involuntary celibates. That it's society's fault why girls don't touch them.
It's not.
It has
They don't go
nothing to do
outside.
with the fact that they don't shower and they have a horde of Warhammer figurines in their mother's basement where they live.
I kind of feel bad for those people, because those people like look at life very, very, like, terribly, but at the same time, they don't have great mentors as well either, because, like,
Oh, sure. There's always.
and that's where I kind of look at it too, where it's just like, whether it's parents or like people that come into people's lives when it comes from that mentorship, because the one thing that I've noticed is there's a lot of false mentors out there, right?
Oh,
Mm.
And this is where it kind of gets interesting, right? Where, there's that person that kind of is like, hey, I'll show you the ropes, I'll give you advice, and yada yada yada. Or it's more so that they act like they're a mentor to feed their God complex, because, like,
Yeah.
versus like the mentor that actually is a part of you with your journey, and giving you advice and checking in on you, and helping you grow. There's like those mentors that will sit there and be like, oh yeah, just reach out to me if you ever need any advice, and then, like, when you do, they don't ever reach back out to you. And it's kind of funny, because it's like, I call those folks like mentors in the moment, where it's because it's convenient for them, and like it's easy for them to reach out. They do. But then, like, when you're out of their convenience or out of their simplicity, you've effectively lost the role in their life, where your role is effectively stroking their ego. Because, like, I'll be honest with you, like, a lot of people mentor or make the attempt to mentor other people to boost their own ego, because it feels good. Oh yeah, look at me. I made this guy, or I made this person, and yada yada yada. And in my opinion, I think that's like the worst way to be a mentor, because you're not being a mentor to actually, transfer knowledge. You're just being a mentor because you have a huge ego and a God complex, and you should probably rethink your life's decisions. But that's the one thing I've kind of noticed in this trend. And it's like, for me personally, I don't have that interest. Like, right now, I don't think that I could be qualified to be a mentor. Yeah, I've gone through life, I've had my journeys, I've had my experiences and my adventures and stuff like that. But I don't know. I can give people advice, but, like, to sit there and kind of watch someone grow, I don't think I've gotten to that level of expertise yet. But again, if someone asks me
But
for help, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll give them advice.
but that's
Because
like a formal mentor though. And very rarely do you have a formal mentor. It's not like it's the Renaissance and you have the master and the apprentice, and that's the only way to move forward in life. It's just like
that's interesting, because, like, for me, I have that person in my life that's like, he's the master, I'm the apprentice, but I've had that relationship with him for 8 years. And
that's a
he's
long
like,
time.
yeah, and he's like a secondary father for me. He's like a secondary father figure, because, like, for me, when I started so we call it internships, people call it apprenticeship. So when you're in college and you get hired by a corporation, when you're in college, you're like an apprentice. Um, he took me in, essentially. Like, he picked me, and then, like, he tootled me under his wing until I left my company to go where I am right now. And even now, him and I still talk 4 times a week on the phone, or we'll still meet up and grab coffee. So for me, he's the definition of a master, like, as a sensei, because even though I don't see him in person as much as I used to, he's still talking to me at least 3,
You know
4
how
times.
rare you know how
What?
rare that is, though?
Oh, exceptionally.
Like,
Exceptionally.
yeah, that's
honestly,
insane.
I don't have that. Like everything I learned, I had to learn it from myself the hard way. And honestly, life taught me by a couple of times, like falling flat on my face,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
and then learning from it. I don't like pain is my mentor.
Pain is my mentor. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic with him and I because, like, for example, he wasn't, like, the kind of, like, mentor that's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna let Dash do this because I know it's gonna be bad for him," but he was kind of like, "I'm going to let him make the decisions that he makes or the path that he goes, but I'll be there to make sure nothing catastrophically bad happens." But it's more so I want to see what he learned out of it and what he's going to adjust from his decision-making process or how he operates, right? That's kinda how he is. And that's one of the things that I really appreciated was, like, he let me kind of go on and experience things, but also when something and to be honest, I've never gotten to that point where something catastrophically bad happened where he had to step in and yada, yada, yada. I'm a little bit too prideful for that to get myself in that situation, but, um, it was interesting because again, for me, it's just like, I've had that experience what a genuine, mentor is, and so, like, I would say confidently that I could spot these fake ones, right? And it's just like one of those things where I always find interesting where it's just like I look at those people, and I mean the fake mentors that more so do it out of convenience because, like, once their use for you is kind of subsided, they never talk to you ever again. They never reach out to you. They never open up lines of communication with you because again, you stroked their ego long enough, they've already found another schmuck to do the same exact thing with you for. And I think that kind of gives this because and the reason why I've kind of brought this conversation up is because I have, people that work at the restaurant that are younger in age. And I like to always communicate with people and just kind of get a little bit of a background of who they are and, the decisions they make or the personality types that they are. And the one thing that I've been noticing a lot of with younger folk is the whole I don't trust anybody and I don't want to, learn from anybody or I don't want to ping off ideas from other people. And I kind of want to do like this lone wolf facade, which I find exceptionally corny. I think it is one of the most corniest concepts, or even better yet, the Sigma concept, right? Like you have the alpha male, beta male, Sigma male, right? One of the most corniest concepts I have ever seen in life, and I don't know why it's popular. It's maybe
Incels.
because
It
this
goes back
incel
to
red
incels.
pill yeah, this incel red pill bullshit where I think has absolutely spewed garbage into people's lives, and I say both genders because it's not a male or a female thing. I think it's both.
Mhm.
And I think there's this old saying, and I think Canadian Dave, you might know this better than German Dave, but what is it? It takes a village to raise a person
But as a kid, yeah.
as a kid, right? Where it's like now we're going away from that, where
Mhm.
it's like
Absolutely.
everybody has to learn from themselves, and that's where you get like this new grift trend, right? Where you have, oh, hey, bro, buy 5 courses at 500 a piece, and you can be like the man you've always wanted to be. Where it's like, shouldn't that be your dad, your neighbors, and the people in your community that teach you that? Not
Brother,
some fucking weirdo from
cousin,
YouTube?
relatives, friends, school friends, study friends.
Yeah.
Like you have to build those relationships somewhere. Like some grow up without a father, you still can build that relationship like at some point with I don't know, schoolmates, with co-students and
Anybody.
but
Anybody in your
Anybody.
life.
yeah.
Anybody. It's about
You you
connections.
you you just have to be like socially yeah, con con
It's competent.
conscious
Conscious.
to
Conscious,
socially conscious
competent, yeah.
to build those relationships, yeah.
Because it's just like you look at it from that perspective, and it's just kind of interesting why it's like you're pulling away people. What I understand because if we want to get into the tinfoil hat, because it's more profitable when people are isolated, it's more easier to sell them shit because there isn't someone
Everyone
there to
needs shit because they can't
everyone needs.
borrow it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, the more you isolate people from it, the less, communication interactions, because now you're getting to the point where you're selling men courses on how to be a man,
So it was weird
and it's profitable. That's the
when I
thing
was
that surprises me.
when I was away for work. I don't know if it's because I put on my VPN in the hotel room, but my YouTube algorithm started pushing me some of these YouTube videos. I'm like, like, what did I trigger that all of a sudden I feel like I'm a beta cuck and I need like all these YouTube courses to tell me how to live my fucking life, and like it's like, oh, if you do this, a woman will totally just like milk for you. It's like,
Yeah, like, send these 3 texts and she'll be crawling for you, like, stuff like that. That to me just
like,
kinda
what's-
boggles my mind.
yeah, I was very surprised. It's thankfully going away. I was like, why would he think I need this? Like, be married for how long?
Yeah, because I think, and again, and we can get tinfoily here, but the more you isolate people, the more of a market share it is, because now those people aren't gaining the lessons or the experience or the items, because, like, for example, now you could sell cooking courses for people how to learn how to cook, where before you could watch your parents or you could watch other people in your
Yeah.
community and you could learn from them. Same
By
thing
the
with
way, don't buy cooking courses. You can literally search
YouTube
up or
videos.
look up like
That pretty much
any
anything.
any recipe on YouTube, also like authentic cuisine by authentic like local chefs. So
Dude, there's a
don't
guy out there doing like helicopter maintenance on YouTube. It's like, oh hey, if you got this
yeah.
helicopter, you gotta change the drive shaft. Here, I'll just show you.
Just how to do a drive shaft. But
Just
speaking
like,
of that,
hey,
like, for
like
example,
that's supposed to be like us go to school for a couple years, you know?
yeah,
But
well, and then, like, for example, with me, right, with my tire incident that I had where my tire blew out on the freeway, like, people can't even change car tires now. No one's like, changing a tire on a vehicle apparently is a foreign concept, or changing the oil on your vehicle if you have the means to do it.
driving
I know,
manual
and,
cars.
like, working on vehicles, like, doing stuff like that. You know how many I keep a spare, pair of jumper cables on me, because, like, I'll have, like, a kid that's
yeah,
working at the restaurant that'll sit there and be like, "My
Yeah.
car won't start." I'm like, "Do you have jumper cables?"
always have jumper cables.
"No."
Yeah,
That's
you
just
have
that's
to have that
standard,
because
They
man.
don't have
that-
them.
that's like a
Standard.
fucking spare tire, man.
It is. Jumper cables, um, obviously a spare tire, obviously spare equipment for it to change spare tire, having a pair of gloves, having a tarp that you can lay on the ground, like, there's, like, a vehicle, like, having a flare
Yeah.
if you need it, just in case if you're out in the dark and you need, again, "Hey, doofus, don't hit me, I'm in this area." Like,
The attention sign or whatever it
yep,
is.
there's an actual, like, kit that people should keep in their cars, and it's like, they don't, and you're just kinda like, "Well,
Oh,
what the
the
fuck?"
jack.
If you're in America, it's usually a revolver.
Oh yeah, you need that as well in your first aid kit.
It's in your first aid kit. "Hey, I need a Band-Aid, but not for me."
Oh man, make sure he's dead. It's easier.
Double tap. That's usually how it ends. But yeah, it's just I look at it from that perspective, and that's where you kinda see this, like, this false rise to mentors, because, again, people are isolated, and the thing is, like, you can never go through life on your own. I don't care who says it or who instigates that bullshit. "I'm gonna figure out every solution on my own. I'm gonna do everything on my own. I don't need it." It's like, stop it. Stop it. Stop coping. Stop coping. Because there's always gonna be someone out there that knows something better than you, that knows how to understand a problem better than you, that can solve something that you can't. And instead of having this fucking god complex or this ego that you can do everything on your own, humble yourself and ask for help.
Nobody can do
N
shit completely.
no.
No, nobody's perfect. Everyone's got their specialty, their things
Yeah.
they're
No,
good
you
at, and
Everybody
things they're
everybody
not.
has their unique niche. And I think, and my biggest concern is, and I kinda blame social media on this, where I think social media is confronting people to be this person, and this person will be accepted. This person will be this, because remember back then, where when going to the gym was a thing because you were disciplined and you wanted to be in shape, where now it's apparently the norm. If you're not going to the gym, you're not normal.
yep.
If you're not, if you're not doing this, you're not normal, where it's become, and the issue is like, and this is why I'm kind of irritated with gym culture right now, is because working out isn't like, for example, it's looked upon for you to fit into society instead of you actually trying to better yourself.
Yep. I agree.
Because, like, for example, if if you don't have a bodacious booty, right, as a girl, no one's gonna give you attention. Or no one's gonna notice it. Or if you're a guy, right? If you're small, if you're not in shape, no one's gonna give you attention. Where it's like, and I'm not saying not to work out, right? I wanna iterate that point clear. I'm not saying that you shouldn't better yourself, but I'm saying the reason behind it should be more better than what it is. Because for me, I exercise. Why? Because I want to be better when I play footy. Why do I wanna be better when I play footy? Because it's euphoric for me. It's why I blow off steam. It's fun. It's a hobby that I enjoy doing. And it allows me to channel my competitive energy to push myself to be better. So it's like, that's my why. That's what's feeding my reason to do what I'm doing. Where it's like, you look at people that are exercising, it's like, why are you exercising? I don't know. See it on Instagram. I don't know. I don't know. Just my friend is doing it. Right. Where it's like, I look at it and it's like social media has confronted people to fill this thing, to fit this thing so they can be accepted. Because, there's that old Japanese saying, the hammer that sticks out, or the nail that sticks out gets hammered. And I think now we've kind of gone into that society, or
Kinda disappointed that you didn't do it in Japanese.
unfortunately I can't. That's too complicated for me, so I can't. I'd sound very terrible, like my white accent would come out. Like, sore wa no, but um
Arigato.
wakaranai. But anyways, when it looks like, because one of the things, like, for example, when all three of us were kids, one of the most important lessons that we were taught as children is everyone is unique. You have a unique trait, maximize it to the fullest because you have something that someone else doesn't. Where it's now, I don't see that as a message being conveyed. Where it's almost like now everyone is falling in line to something. You should be like that person. You should be like this person, or you should become that. Or, like, for example, and this is where I kind of get irritated, and I'm kind of tying it back to these fake mentors on the internet, where they're all trying to do this thing where they're all trying to be this influencer and look at me, I can dance, I can do all this corny stuff and yada yada yada, but then behind the camera you're an asshole. Right? So it's like you're essentially, and the problem is the people aren't seeing that behind the scenes or that behind the camera, and they're confronting themselves into something that's not real. And this is where we can get into, like, Carl Jung and the whole persona and the shadow and everything, where
You
a
just
lot
gotta talk about Carl Jung. You just gotta like
I love
throw him
Carl
in.
I love Carl Jung, man. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But there's three facets to a person. You have the persona, and then you have the person, and then you have the shadow. The issue is that people are feeding into this persona of this person that they should be because it's normally acceptable. Obviously, I'm not saying be an asshole to people, right? But, like, people are doing things or becoming things that fill this persona, and they're neglecting the shadow or the actual parts of themselves. And then it gets to the point where you don't know. You have people that are running into these identity crises that don't know who they are or what they want to do or where they want to go because they've been following this thing without a reason behind it. If you've been following this objective or this goal without a proper why or without a proper reasoning, you're going to lose yourself. Or when you attain that objective, you're going to sit there and you're going to be like, why the fuck did I do this? Because you're not getting that satisfaction. Because it's not what you really wanted. It's what society told you you wanted. It's what Instagram told you you wanted. Because I look at it now, how many guys are going out wearing the same exact clothes, the same exact fucking hairstyle, the same exact workout regimen, the same exact this?
That was
Why?
always the case, though, wasn't it? Though, really,
It was, but now the thing is the main goalpost is women, right? For guys to chase women. Like, for example, oh, that girl left you. See you at the gym, buddy. Because, like, that's the common trend now that you'll see, right? Guy gets his heart broken. Welcome to the gym. We'll take you, buddy. Where it's like, oh, I'm going to make myself bulkier or stockier because I got dumped.
Mm.
Like that.
For
That's
for some people, that point is maybe a bit generalizing because some may do it then to boost their self-awareness or themselves. Like, okay, I get that is over. Let me take care of myself now. Now that
that's
you know
that's
one
different.
thing is
That's
over.
perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect because that is, like, for example, if you were to sit there and be like, if you take a step back and be like, okay, I got dumped. Okay, let's sit
Yep.
here. Okay, I let myself go. I'm not in shape. I have very low self-worth in myself. I'm not very confident in myself. That's probably some of the reasons why she left me. If you have that conversation and then you go to the gym and you're like, okay, one, I need to get myself back in shape. Two, I need to start loving myself a little bit more. And the way to love myself a little bit more is by taking care of myself and building up my confidence, right? That's fine, right? There's no issue with that. But, again, you look at this narrative where it's like, oh, she dumped you, go to the gym and get bulky.
Yeah, I know that does make sense. Yeah.
It doesn't.
You said, you said you didn't want to be a mentor, but here you are mentoring all the Sigma Chads on our channel right now.
We don't have Sigmas. We just have people. We have great people here. Like Trump. We have great people here. I like the viewers of The Dive. They're very funny, very good takes, and it's just the best people. We have the best listeners, the best fans.
We're getting you a mega hat for these bits.
Fuck, man. Then I lose my job. No, but I'm kidding.
But
But
not if you do it like that. When it's in jest, you're making maybe you would lose your job.
Parody. It's a parody.
Parody, yeah.
And then you'd have more ammunition to make fun of me for being single because no girl would date a guy that wears a MAGA hat. I'm just keeping it honest with you.
Oh, there's
Oh, I bet you could
there's
land
some
a
girls.
not
white
the ones that I find attractive.
You
not
may
Columbian because
Dash.
Trump is
Dash.
anti-immigrant.
Yes,
In
fair.
Florida, you may even meet some Latinas that like it.
It's gonna be like this thing that apparently I have a Latina fetish. We're gonna start this rumor saying that
Oh, you
Dash only
do.
dates Latinas.
You do.
That's
So it's funny. There's this Colombian girl that I work with, actually. Just funny enough. And
Ooh, that's a turn I didn't expect.
No. It's just
I knew it was
nothing
coming.
crazy.
Oh, I knew it was
Nothing crazy. It's just she was gone for a while, away. And she came back and I saw her again. And the first thing I thought about was Dash.
Goddamn, am I the only one that doesn't know Colombian?
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
goddamn.
You're welcome.
I'm never
Okay.
telling a story
No,
ever
but
again.
to turn it into an honest note again. Look,
To get to business.
no, I would, for example, never consider myself a mentor for anybody.
Well, you don't need to consider yourself as one.
No,
It's just like
but
I think that's the best.
let me go
Go
into
ahead,
why.
cook. We'll let you cook.
Look, I am self-aware enough to realize to myself that my lifestyle and how I'm living is completely toxic. And if I didn't have my lady by my side, I would be dead by now. Look, my day has only 24 hours like your days have. I am working 10 plus hours per day, full time, study full time while I'm doing that. So find the time to study as well and to catch everything up. And even on my free, like when I have Saturdays free or Sundays free, catch up on everything that I have to study for. And find time for my lady as well. Like I am literally gone the whole morning. And
He finds time for us too. I'm so touched.
and that's what I wanted to go into. Like this is an outlet for me. Honestly, if I didn't have this and my lady in my life, I swear I would be completely deranged by now.
I'm just his punching bag. He beats me to relieve all his stress.
No,
Oh.
and if you think about like 10 to 12 hours a day working, somehow squeezing in studying and going to the gym, that's not a healthy lifestyle.
Reasons why
I
Dash
would
is single, part 2. No, I'm just...
and I would never recommend that life to anyone.
No,
Because if you don't have the people surrounding you, and even if you have the people surrounding you, this can absolutely destroy you mentally.
it can.
And honestly, it sometimes does. But thankfully, like I have
But it's the
people
people in your life that pull you out of it. Yeah, it's the
I don't
people.
know.
Thank God.
Dash, I think he just fell into the same trap you just did. Like, it sounds like he's a fairly good mentor right here. He as well Are teaching the people of the internet.
The best mentors are the ones that aren't actively looking to be a mentor. Like, that's honestly what it is, because, like, for example, the guy, like, my sensei, right? He wasn't one of those guys that was like, "Oh, I'm gonna, I'm a mentor this and blah blah blah." No, I remember it. I was a spunky college kid that had a smart ass attitude and a mouth, in polite ways, not gross ways. Pause. But
I don't know which one's which.
touche. Uh, but it was one of those things where I kind of had like one of those, like, those corny anime moments where, like, I punched the biggest guy in the room, metaphorically, not literally, and that's what caught his attention. Where he's like, okay, this kid kind of reminds me of me when I was his age. And I remember he was just kind of like, "You're extremely interesting." And he's like, "What's your name?" And I was like, I told him what my name was, and he's like, "I'm gonna take you under my wing. I find something very, very intriguing about you." And that's what kind of started, like,
And
if you
that's how
watch.
he got his comb over.
That's how I got my comb over. Yeah, but my relationship with him is almost kind of like a Jiraiya Naruto relationship. Like, German Dave would know this
Oh yeah.
one.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, for him, it was just like he taught me, how to act in the corporate world, how to handle problems in the corporate world, how to deal with certain things and things like that. Because I had immigrant parents, right? My parents don't understand how the corporate world works. They can, but not as well as him. They don't understand the lifestyle. They don't understand a bunch of stuff here. So, like, effectively, I was going in like, a young, impressionable man, essentially, into that world, because the corporate world's a nasty world at the end of the day.
That's a young, impressionable Albanian man who still loves his mother.
Hi, mom. But no. Uh, so he kind of taught me all of that stuff. And this was the year that was time for me to spread my wings, be free, be a butterfly. Would I like to help the next generation later down the road? Absolutely. Because, it's to do good as he's done by me. It's essentially to do good onto the next generation, because that's what he did with me. He passed
Because
his,
you're mentored properly.
yeah, he passed his sauce to me, and it's, it's
Oh,
my duty.
Oh,
easy,
pause. Pause.
easy.
Fuck. I
That
fucked it
that
up. Fuck.
that is maybe the most
Most
gigantic pause moment ever.
very big pause.
God
But
damn.
no, but and the thing is like, he passed it, and can be corny about it, but he passed his superpower to me, and now it's my turn to pass it on to the next generation when the successor arises, and that's where it is, and that's generally how I think most people should.
I'm so thankful you phrased that different, because if you went, he passed all his sauce and I passed that on to the next generation, that would have been God damn.
Oh, I put a marker.
Super pause.
Not the marker.
Not the mark. But and I think that's what constitutes a great mentor, is the one that isn't there because of convenience, isn't there because of some stupid fucking God complex that I know a lot of people have right now. And it's more so, again, I want the world around me to be a better place. So I will teach my experiences and my lessons to that person, so that person can then spread it to the next person. Because effectively, that is how you build proper culture. That's how you build a proper community. That's how you build a proper village. And then that goes to a city and whatnot. Because if you're able to pass on good habits, good intentions to someone that believes in you, that trusts you, then they'll pass it on to someone else, and then they'll pass it on to someone else. And it becomes, because the greatest thing about humans and the most important thing about legacy and immortality is passing something of yours on to the next generation. Because people think about whether or not it's, extending your life expectancy and yada yada yada, how to live forever, but in reality, it's teaching important lessons, making impressions on people that change their lives in the way for the better. And if you do that, and if you have, like, for example, if you imprint those memories of yourself onto people, and even if you're physically not there anymore, you're still there.
You're like
That's how you build
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
that's how you build a legacy.
And that's how you build your legacy. So that's where I look at it. And if you're doing things because you're trying to get surface level items or surface level validation, again, I pity that person, because when you go away, nobody gives a shit about how many Ferraris you had or how many houses you have or what's this and this. When you pass away, it's
I
always
would
going to
do
be.
Porsche.
They would ask, they would sit there and be like, damn, man, Dash taught me this. He showed me this. You know, I have this skill because he taught me this, or he spent time developing this. And that's where, again, the only way that you can develop that or understand that through other people is by opening yourself up to other people while you're going through your journey. Because, like, for example, as Oda would say for One Piece, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey you took to get there. It's about the stories you've made with other people, the memories you've built with other people.
We
Because,
gotta
like,
chill now though, Oda. Like the journey has become like actually too long.
Well,
yeah,
question,
yeah,
because I don't know anime or any of this shit. Like, did he marry her after he got that One Piece? Like, is he done? Is that it? Is that all he experienced?
it's not done yet. They're still trying to get to the One Piece. It's like 30 fucking years. No, but there's that quote, right? Like, for example, a lot of people are focused on the destination and on the journey, and the journey is actually more rewarding than the destination itself, because it's, again, the memories that you've made, the adventures that you've traveled, the people that you've met. I think that's the most successful thing, or the most enlightening thing you can have whenever you're going through anything in life, right? Because it's kind of like German Dave says. He's like, if it's not for the people around me, I would be losing my fucking mind. And it's the same thing with me too, because you get hit with ebbs and flows, and you're not, unfortunately, you're not this robot, you're not this machine, you're not powering through everything without emotions, because in my opinion, if you're not channeling your emotions, you're not using your full power.
That's something a robot would say.
That is fuck.
AI,
Ash is a robot.
No. But it's an important thing to understand, because it's like, for example, a lot of people are kind of being shied away from channeling their emotions because it's frowned upon, right? Having emotions is not good. Being emotionally reactive is not good. That's not true. I think that's a big that's a false narrative that they teach people. It's a
Is
fallacy.
this like emotional intelligence nonsense that they go on about? Like, oh, this is how a stoic would do it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is, right? Like, obviously, look, being overly emotional is not good, right? Not being able to control them. But locking them is just as bad as not being able to control
yeah,
them, because let me quote The Dark Knight Rises here, right? When Bruce is trying to climb out of the pit to fight Bane, he
yeah.
suppressed his emotions, but he couldn't
Dude,
make that jump,
you
right?
know
So
what? This is so crazy that you're doing a Dark Knight reference. You know how hard I tried to get a Two-Face thing of Thiago Mata on AI to do it? And that was gonna be my theme for the podcast, the Thursday podcast. And I just couldn't lock it in. So I went with something super lame. And
Hey,
I hate myself for
but
it.
you know what? Your Juntoli Joker was incredible
that
though.
was
A couple of
I
weeks
incredible.
know
ago.
that's why I was hinging.
That was
Gronk,
incredible.
Elon, you're failing me. You got too many jobs.
But you look at it, right? So, like, at that point, Bruce was, again, trying to climb out of the pit. He kind of channeled and locked his emotions away from him inside. So, like, again, every time he would get to the point where he'd make the jump, he wouldn't jump far enough. And then the old doc tells him, it's because you don't fear death. You don't have the important impulse of the emotion, because the fear of death, or that fear that, hey, you're going to lose something, is, again, what can give you that extra umph, that can give you that extra push, that can give you that extra gear. And if you condition yourself not to feel anything, you're never going to get that drive or that impulse. Because, for example, a lot of miracle moments in life, and even we can talk sports, because, again, we're a sports channel. A lot of those moments, those players have that emotional impulse that overcomes something, that pushes them beyond, that gets them there. It's because they've learned how to channel those emotions, how to manage those emotions, and they use it for fuel. They use it to push themselves beyond their limits, because it's the proper way how to live. Because obviously, if you get too emotional, you lose your focus. And if you don't get emotional enough, you're not engaged.
And
And
sometimes it's like it's a toolbox, right? Like
it is.
sometimes it's right to like lose your shit on something. Sometimes it's right to bottle it in and save it for another day.
Yeah, and, like, for example, anger, right? Anger is a very negative emotion. People view it as a negative emotion, being angry. But, for example, if you know how to utilize that anger properly, being angry can say, "Hey, something's not right here." Anger could be, "Okay, I need to change something because something's not right here." Or anger could be, "Okay, I need to try again because something didn't work out in the way that I did," versus, "Oh, he's just angry because he's in his emotions." Yeah, right? It's the way that you scope it. It's the way that you view it, and you're able to channel it. Because, like, for example, you can self-sabotage yourself in that regard, because Oh, anger is a negative emotion. I don't ever want to feel it because it's frowned upon. Or pride is a negative. And that's a great one to talk about too. Pride is an emotion. Pride is one of the most frowned upon emotions that a human can have. Why? Because it has a negative aspiration to it.
Misplaced. It can. It's one of the ones that can really teeter on very negative or very positive.
Exactly. Because you need to understand how to manage it properly. Because pride is tied to self-worth, is tied to self-image. So if you have no pride, you have no self-worth. You have no self-image. However, if you have too much pride, you can come off as arrogant, overbearing, and cocky, right? So you see how beautiful that is, right? Because it's a negative emotion, but can also be used in the positive sense if you channel it correctly. And that's again the persona versus the shadow. Bring this back full circle here, because the persona is again the negative aspect of the emotion or the emotion that you want it to appear as, and the shadow is the opposite of it that you've repressed. Because, like, for example, my persona is I don't want to be prideful and I want to be humble. Your shadow then becomes your self-worth that you've been repressing for a very long time. And it's only going to get to a point where that mask cracks and your shadow bleeds through, and then you don't know what the hell you are at that point. So that's why everything is a gray area, in my opinion. There's no black and white when it comes to certain stuff like that. It's always understanding the ebbs and flows. That's why the gray Jedi is always better than the regular Jedi and the Sith, because the gray Jedi knows how to operate within the light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force. Keeping it Star Warsy for y'all fans there.
No black and white on this podcast.
You're deeper into your Star Wars that you know great Jedi, man.
I am that guy.
You glossed over. I don't know if you heard me or not. You glossed over my Obi.
Here, man.
Yeah, he said I'm Obi-Wan.
Okay, you did catch that. You guys, all right, you're Obi. It's like you're Obi because you're always there. You're always there, even after death.
Yeah, it's that's why I kind of like he mentioned Obi-Wan. I'm like, let me see if German Dave understands the Gray Jedi. I'm gonna spit that. He's like sitting there. He's like, oh, Dash knows the Gray Jedi. As I'm wearing,
I don't even know the Gray.
Yeah, because
the Great Jedi are possibly one of the nerdiest things you can know.
Oh, is it just like because they're like the gray men? They're just like the standard, like the standard everyday Jedi.
No, it's really like free of when Star Wars was of when the Star Wars canon happened. Like it is a lot of side story comics.
Hold on, which canon? The old canon or like the Disney canon?
There we go. I got you.
No, the old canon has become the legends as it's stating there, and you have the current canon, which is all the current movies and series, and games. By the way, the current games are part of the canon as well.
Yeah. So the Gray Jedi, the term Gray Jedi or Gray, Gray, has two meanings. First, it is a Jedi and a Sith to describe Force users that have walked the line between the light and the dark sides of the Force without surrendering to the dark side. Second, it describes a Jedi who has distanced themselves from the Jedi High Council and has operated outside of the structure of the Jedi Code. So again, that's not.
These sound like my dudes. I like these guys.
Yeah,
I'll go Gray. Fuck it, let's go.
However, those who are considered true Gray Jedi have met the qualifications, both qualifications, and not belong to any particular Force tradition. So Julie is one of them, and then I think it was Julie, and then Qui-Gon was also a Gray Jedi. Well, people thought Qui-Gon was one of those.
So and Ahsoka has become one.
Yeah, I was going to say Ahsoka is technically that too, but
not technically. I think Ahsoka became a proper one. I think in Rebels, I believe.
Oh, Rebels, okay. Because whatever this.
Oh no, sorry. It was at the end of Clone Wars before that last story arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are next level though. You understand?
Oh
this,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah. Oh, dude, trust me. Star Wars.
Like I know Star Wars, but you just like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna start making like Lord of the Rings jokes or something on you.
Yeah,
or which boy on the broomstick. That's more what this is like now.
Yeah, but like for example, I think again the whole concept of the Gray Jedi is very applicable to like for example how people where you reach true enlightenment, right?
Yeah, you have to balance everything. Like every emotion you feel, like you have to balance it. You can't feel overly emotional, not too much. Sorry, not not no emotions and not too much emotions, and that goes like for every emotion. You have to go through life balanced. Honestly, always question yourself. Have you given your best? Have you left anything on the table? Can you do more? Can you do less? Can you feel more? Can you feel less? How you treat people, can you improve? Or do you do too much? Do you get on other people's nerves? Like, you have to question a lot about your life and learn a lot about your life, and everything is individual because all of us are different characters. So everybody has to learn. Everybody in his ways, though.
Yeah, but it's
but
again
only individually on
operating.
YouTube.
Yeah, but again, the main point is
To go into Star Wars again,
oper-
Anakin had to learn how to lose his biggest fear, which was loss. And guess what?
And
He
he
was able
also
to.
did lose his virginity to that hot chick. What was her name?
Padme.
Padme,
Padme, yes. Who's the actor?
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
Yes, that's the one.
Wifey.
There you
Damn,
go. There
Dash,
you go.
Dash, hold up. Oh, no, oh, wrong side. Sorry.
Gosh, Natalie Portman, hands down, one of the most wifiest actresses ever.
Damn.
She might have just like the shittiest personality, but fuck it, I don't care.
Dude, it was my childhood. Why would I care
Oh, yeah.
about her personality at that
Oh my
point?
goodness, yeah, I was gonna say Natalie Portman. I remember when she was in Thor, Jane Foster. I'm like, fuck, man, Thor's got
Okay.
it down.
My favorite. What was Pirates of the Caribbean? What's her name?
Amber Heard.
No,
not
Just
that
fucking
one. Jesus,
Keira Knightley. Keira
Yeah,
Knightley.
Keira Knightley. Oh man, and she had
Natalie Portman.
the corset
Enough,
though.
funny enough, in Star Wars Episode 1, Keira Knightley played the double to Natalie Portman.
Really?
Yeah, like
Holy
Natalie
fuck,
Portman
nerds!
was the actual queen, and Keira
Because
Knightley played the double to the queen.
this is
So
gonna turn into like a
yeah.
sci-fi. We're gonna the algorithm.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
on, algorithm. Star Wars. Let's go. I'm
Star
tagging
Wars.
everything.
You know what? I actually got a perfect thing to describe this. So this conversation that we're talking earlier. So between the Sith Code and the Jedi Code, right? And this is kind of like, for example, if you look at the Karate Kid too, if you watch the Karate Kid 1, and 2 and 3, and you listen to Mr. Miyagi, it's almost kind of the same as this. So like, for example, the Sith Code, even though they're essentially evil Jedi, their code is this: peace is a lie, there's only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Though my victory and my chains are broken, the force shall set me free. So again, that is them being fueled by emotion. That is 100% using emotion to channel them. And then when you look at the Jedi Code, there's no emotion, there's peace. So again, you're making decisions without emotion. Because there's no ignorance, there is knowledge. Because there's no passion, there is serenity. Because there's no chaos, there is harmony. There's no death, there is a force. So for them, they're the polar opposite, right? Where I can look at things without any passion, without any emotion, without anything like that.
Yeah, the
So I'm like,
Jedi's are very culty. Like the Siths are just like bloodthirsty, like dictator fascists. You know, like
Yeah.
Lazio
Mussolini
fans?
or whatever. Lazio
Lazio?
fans. And the Jedi, it's like don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, and then like, for example, with the gray code, right? There is no dark side and there is no light side. There's just the force. I will do what I must to keep the balance. There is no good without evil, but evil must not be allowed to flourish. It's again keeping the darkness at bay. Or like, for example, there is passion, yet you can have passion, but you can also be peaceful. There is serenity, but you can also have emotion. And then there is chaos, but yet there is order. So it's being able to understand the ebbs and flows, because there is no path where having everything of one thing is good. You always have to have a balance of something.
I just
Because
want to point out, since I mean you already shot on me for last week's title, but reasons why Dash is still single.
I am wise beyond my age. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, I swear we will make a full Star Wars episode now that I know Dash knows his stuff as well.
Wait, I need him to say, Dash, I did not respect your game.
I don't even know that reference. Am I too old? So what you're saying?
No. It's
No,
just one of those like things where like when someone kind of surprises you with something, or usually it's like for example when an ugly dude looks
I
really
was not
attractive.
familiar with it yet.
I was not familiar with your game.
It's
So it's
got to
like for
be from
example,
something though.
it's something off the internet. Like some
Internet
dude got a
guy.
really like an ugly dude got a very attractive girl, and then like someone responds with, "Hey man, I wasn't familiar with your game."
I'm not a big meme guy, so I mean a lot of these things I'm just an old. I'm an unk, as they call me.
I'm an unk by association.
Mm-hmm. Especially hanging out with your old ass.
Yeah.
Oof, oof. But I think we can channel this conversation. We can
Handle the force.
the force on this one and outro on this one because it's 9:00 and it's like 5 in the morning for German Dave.
German
like
Dave.
Pay-per-view
3
time for 3 a.m. It's like pay-per-view time for him. It's like we were watching the Elimination Chamber all over again with one of the greatest
Oh
heel
my
turns
God.
in history.
And in about a month, the same again. For
Oh, I know.
WrestleMania.
Oh, that's
God, I need to take the Monday off.
yeah.
This is coming out on daylight savings as well, so it's coming out in the future,
It's like this week or next week.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And then
for us.
Europe does like a couple weeks. It's gonna be fucked up for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Everything's fucked.
Everything's fine. And on that note, fuck the like button. No, but make sure you guys hit the like button. Obviously, again, we have a blast doing these. So we are, again, in between classes or driving home and you want to listen to some deep talk, listen to the Dive After Hours. But obviously, we appreciate you guys and we shall catch you on the next one.